prom king, like officially.
Exactly. Oh, I'm already a king.
Oh, you're, oh,
that's for sure.
Oh,
go king.
I'm
Okay.
him. I am him.
He said, I am him.
He said, I am him. I am
Always.
him. Oh my god, Brady, we love you. He came in with the crown, the fur. Like, we are matching. We are
You
matching.
are.
Right
Well,
now.
thank you, Mr. Epic Brady, for coming up. It seems like you're going to be making it to the next round, but we'll talk. We'll talk. So I think let's talk about those first three contestants a little bit. First contestant, Mr. Jedi. Are we taking him to the second round?
Yeah,
I think so. You are so giggly. What is going on?
She's smitten for him.
She is. No, I felt really awkward whenever I went into the dolls VC and you two were getting all cuddly up in there trying to do a fit check. Now what's going on with that?
What? Cuddly through the interwebs. What? My wires are not tangled with anyone else's.
For now. I think that was a really good first contestant because he seems fit, right? Like he said he was nerdy. He's a little bit like, he's still on Discord. But like there was a lot of potential there, right? And then we got CD-ROM, who I was very surprised. He really knows how to raise a girl up. He really knows how to make a girl feel special. So I think I would like to see more from CD, but unfortunately, he's going into the movie theater and
has he
he's better.
When he said, I was like, King, how are you gonna make it to the next round? If you're in the, I honestly means I think for you, CD he most definitely will. Cut his camera on mid-movie and like turn the volume down, like sign language his way to your heart. I fully trust that. CD definitely would if we ping him enough times.
If he gives up the movie for beans, just saying.
Someone in chat said, Pop has her suitcase right at the door, ready to run to whoever. Yes, I'm ready to pack my bags and leave the love of my life in the LC prom.
It's like Love Island up in a bitch. The suitcase is ready to go. So, how did you guys feel about the third contestant, Mr. Epic Brady?
I think
Mr. Brady.
I love that he came in with the fur and the crown. It was cute. I have my little crown. In case you get a crown today, I feel it in my spirit. I hope. But I was wrong with him. His Riz was unmatched. The little innuendos. I was not familiar that LCU's game was cut like that. I'm mistaken. Excuse me.
What did you think about him, Beans?
I think that he came in here with a lot of confidence, which I can appreciate. But the thing is, like, it seemed like he was a little bit nervous. But I like to give people second chances. And I think that we should see what else he has.
Okay.
But sorry, go Zay.
You guys are excited. Like I feel like every contestant is making it to the next round, and that's exciting. They might all be the Riz Lords at the beginning, but we need some more people to hop in waiting to Riz up these lovely ladies.
Thank you.
Because right now we have three contestants. Are you guys really gonna make it down to those three? I saw Exile in the comment section talking about how he want to come up here and Riz. Where's Exile? You should be in waiting. All these other men I was seeing yesterday talking about how they wanted Riz Beans, Riz.
Right, like,
get in waiting. Were you scared?
Not only men, but there were women as well. There were women in the VC.
Please bring the girlies. Get the girly pops in here too. Everybody's a chance. I mean, LCU bestie prom. Why not? Go with the girls.
Are both of you ladies open to ladies?
Good morning or good evening whenever this video is being uploaded. It's been a very interesting weekend stream. Normally the weekends are not usually that busy, right? When they have a weekend stream within the LCL, not a lot of things happen, but I feel like recently a lot more has been going on, and there's been more and more activity to the point where I really can't catch a break. Which is my own fault. A lot happened, right? A little bit stuff relating to the Bean situation. That more or less died down for the most part. Until late into Saturday during test stream of all, dealing with both Rewind and test. So we're going to go through this clip by clip. But obviously we're going to at least go through the show that was on air. So Doll had a little, their dating show for Beans, right? Like a bit of a callback to when they did that for Becky Boov, and we all know how that ended. So it's gonna be interesting where they go with that. I thought it was okay, but I didn't really watch much of it. I saw enough of it, but not like I just saw what I saw, and I just thought it was like, it's cute, it's whatever, who cares? They're having a good time. Zay Zoot is helping out. She's a rising star among the LCU, especially among the smaller shows with props on her. I still don't like her, but hey, props on somebody for doing that and being that's what we call politically smart, and as we also call it, being very, very foxy, if you know what I'm referring to. But let's move on to live before we get into the whole shit show that was Rewind.
Lion super chatted $19.99. Keemstar, did you ever find out what Rostov looks like? We need Rostov and Wings to fight in the ring. Also props to Rostov for going on other shows for making up not doing anything else besides collecting money. Get attacked. Purple Flip super chatted $20. Shave his pubes and glue them to his face.
You're a fucking
all right, this is what happened.
You watch that clip and you're like, dude, yeah, Glammy's definitely not trying.
Keem, here's what you gotta do. You have
know what else to say.
to sit down and watch 10 hours of Tech Talk, and then tell me if you're not a huge fan of CD-ROM and Glammy together. So
I love them
funny.
together. CD-ROM honestly brings out the best in Glammy. I'm telling you, team.
You have to watch 10 hours straight, and you have to have your eyes taped open like this.
Okay, well, the only way I'd be able to watch that show is if it got moved to prime time. The only way it would get moved to prime time or a time where I'm awake. You just got done.
Yeah, it should be reading, but it's got a cuss word in it. It says, hold the fuck up. CD has a cure for ADHD. Keem, close down the LCU Zelda formula and retire on Mars.
True.
Oh, no, I don't have to for anything.
Dude, he's literally gonna be like, jerk off. He'll fix it.
Take 5 sips of beer and 12 yanks of dick.
Okay. Wait.
All right, let me just do this because I don't have this in order the right way. What happened is Glammy talked during CD-ROM's Riz message to Beans. And remember, I fucking ranted and complained about it on this show. You saw it yesterday, I believe. All right. Well, I also ranted and complained about it on fucking Rewind last night. And I said, Glammy's not a host. She has no idea where she's at. She's just lost, right? So then she called into Rewind and we got into a little bit of a spat.
So you mean to tell me during Tech Talk, right, when Rastov was managing, that you didn't fucking take up everybody's time and energy privately behind the scenes with all different types of...
One time as a crash out, that's the entirety of the whole entire thing that you're looking at is one time. That was
All right,
completely
well, Glammy, I need you to do me a huge favor. I need you to do me a huge favor moving forward. Stop caring about fucking Glammy and start caring about the people watching your show. Thank you.
Glammy.
Yeah.
Good show last night. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad you did.
She was not happy about that, which this caused a complete fucking meltdown. Okay. This is crazy. This is probably the most insane stream I've ever seen.
It was like a 2-hour crash out before the stream just to get her to go live.
Yeah, it's wild. All right, here we go.
Welcome to Locow Tech.
Damn, already crying.
I'm your host, Glammy Lammy. I'm angry. I'm heartbroken. And now it's my turn to say my side of the story, and it's not a good one. I'm so heartbroken and disgusted about how CD acted. And fuck you, Keemstar. How dare you tell me I'm not a host on my own show? I worked hard to build this. I built it. CD comes in 10 minutes before the show starts. I put the docket together. I put the games together. Rastov came in and did the monetization of things, and I'm mad at him too. And we're gonna get into everything. Yeah, I'm full screening myself. Here's the content for you. And
Girl, you don't even have your audio right. Your audio's low as shit.
I want to preface that at the start of when I became their manager, right? I tried to get her to do something funny about like just saying Keemstar sucks for like every $5 donation. She had a full-blown panic attack, right? So she's gone from not even being able to say that as a joke to straight up being like, "Fuck you, Keemstar." The transformation is crazy,
bro. I'm telling you, this is wild. It only gets better.
Figured it out.
I know.
How dare you tell me I'm not a real host? After everything I've been put through, I've been broken, and I've taken it. And
Now, for the most part, live would mainly just them talking over the Glammy situation. Keem start getting mad at a bunch of the hosts for kind of stepping in when they didn't need to. Because let's be fair, when Glammy gets mad, she goes full on lolcow and she just starts roasting everybody. Now, most people may disagree with me about keeping Glammy on. I personally enjoy it because it shows how most of these people can be lolcow so easily. And I think for Keemstar particularly, it's more about his own form of entertainment. Right? Keemstar has said a number of times that Glammy is his entertainment. That I think he rated her as higher than Xylee, believe it or not. I think even higher than Tina. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because he did a tier list, and I gotta do a tier list eventually of myself with all the hosts and interns and everybody, because it'd be pretty entertaining on my part. But nevertheless, again, for me, I like it when the people crash out, and I enjoy it very much. Maybe it's because it shows how human they are. Maybe it shows how easy picking they can be sometimes, like, because I feel like with the LCU you're gonna hit a period of point when you're a host, and that there's gonna be wounds and like stuff like that slowly opening up, and people are gonna pick at it, and then that's gonna result in a crash out, right? And I think Glammy has constantly hit that number of times, back and forth. I mean, how many times has he been betrayed, backstabbed, let go of a show, got on fire, completely just stopped? Like, it happened so many times. And now currently with this situation between CD-ROM and Glammy, is he gonna get fired from Tech Talk? Honestly, I don't even know. I hope not, because I want to see more stuff like this. Do I personally feel bad for her? I'm truthfully no, because I feel like she's given a lot of opportunities to be successful, or at least be entertaining, or at least know how to be entertaining. And every time that she's given a golden opportunity, she fails miserably. And every time, she hits a new level, quote unquote, entertainment by Keemstar standard, it's when she completely crashes out. So it's a weird dilemma where, on one hand, I think a lot of people within the LCU feel bad for her, but I think for people who've been watching her for a long period of time are like, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Personally, firing her would be pointless, because nobody's truly fired from the LCU. Later on, not this stream, but Sunday stream, mine is being uploaded at some point Monday, Twiggy came back. So it kind of proves the point that nobody gets fired, and there's a rumor saying that Savage may come back, which I don't believe, but it wouldn't surprise me. But we'll wait and see. We will wait and see what happens, right? But we're not done yet with live, because as live what's going on, Queens was going on, and I didn't get a chance to record anything that happens on Queens. So, but from what I did watch from a little bit of Queens, because I did watch it, I just didn't record it because I was assuming it was just going to be a nothing burger. They were just going through the shit. They had Roxy there. They were just doing their Saturday streams, whatever, with Tina. And it ended up being closed down. I think they streamed for like a good hour or two. Like, I think it was like more than an hour and a half. With the results that what ended up happening was Tina said something really stupid, or quote unquote racist. Personally, I didn't think it was racist because I think she was trying to mimic the womp 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 sound, but it came off as a racist slur for Italians, which she said twice, and that stream got shut down. But she said it again on live. Just watch the clip.
Yeah, that's the way I love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
Oh, where's Keem? I need Keem.
Why?
Hello?
Why?
Because Tina she just did a racial slur just like Roxy did. And so I think I need to kick her. I guess I could ask you. She just said the same one Roxy did, the one that starts with a W. She said the one time somebody was calling her a W and a G, which is a different one. And I yelled at her.
Fucking Keem and Twiggy are fucked off because apparently like some real serious military shit's going down, or some asteroids are hitting the fucking country or some shit. Have you heard anything about this?
No, but I also don't pay attention to news about aliens and shit, so.
They keep calling from bunkers. Like Keem is in his fucking like panic room bunker fucking thing, and Boogie is in his bomb shelter.
What kind of fuckery are you guys up to? Is the content really that dry? Listen, can I bring you over to Queens since Keem's not here anyway?
I'm not streaming. He's the one. We're live, but he's the one that's like.
Oh, so then I'd be leaving you dead over here. Can I bring Roxy and Tina up here?
Sure.
Till he comes back. Because you're
sure.
community manager, you know? I'm not going to just pull the plug on her.
No, sure.
Okay, here's Tina, and here's Roxy. You guys are on lolcowlive now.
Oh my god.
Can you turn on your cameras?
You guys are on lolcowlive.
Have you seen Betty Boop on Broadway? It's May. Would have sent you a t-shirt if your P.O. box was open. Just got back from Othello with Denzel and Jake Gyllenhaal. Yes, Tina is amazing.
Tina left.
Becky on other show.
Thank you so much, Shane. I really appreciate that. No, I haven't seen Betty Boop on Broadway, but I really want to. Tina, I don't know why she went back. We were in the middle of the
She's mad.
Tina,
Why is she mad? What happened?
Okay, Rastov, let me explain something to you first, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can I say something, Rastov?
Of course.
Okay. First of all, we've been making a lot of money. My son's been donating. We've been doing great today. We're just explaining our, altercations on YouTube. And I said to Roxy, they used to call me a guinea and a wop all the time over on the drama side, and I didn't fucking like it, so I had to come up with my own names for them.
That's exactly what I did yesterday. When I said the same thing you did. I got my whole shows taken away. I got fucking reamed out, nailed to the cross by Keem and Mike for fucking 15 minutes.
Well, I'm not the million, and if there's a fucking wop, it's so goddamn much.
Tina, stop saying it, damn it.
Rastov, do you see why I mute? Does everyone understand now why
I mute,
motherfuckers?
No, Tina, don't leave. Don't leave, Tina. Don't leave.
She has to. I think she has to. Now she did it twice, just like you did, Roxy.
Look, if we're all about to die, I'm not doing it with you guys.
No, is this fucking real? Is this really?
Listen, I don't want Tina to get in trouble, but if I don't get my fucking whole shows back.
You said it, bitch!
Hi, lolcowlive viewers! I guess you've been raided by queens
and
milkers.
I'm gonna fucking love you, Cynthia. Thank you, sweetie. I love you. Oh my God.
Well, I guess we're staying here now because otherwise they'll have dead air. Or we could leave and then get Rastov in trouble.
Yeah, let's hurry up. Yes, take us back. Take us back.
Yes,
Yes,
okay, let's go.
Take us back. Take us back.
Wait.
Drag me. I don't have holsters. Drag me.
Wait, shut up. I know. Wait a second.
Hurry up.
You want to keep... Shut up. I bit my tongue.
Good, you fucking bitch. Good.
You shut the fuck up. If you want to keep watching the fight, come over to Queens. Blow this popsicle joint.
Yes.
All right.
Pull me with you. I don't have the rose.
God, don't rush me.
They're not doing shit.
So yeah. So she said it again after the stream got shut down. I'm not sure why Keemstar even let it go on. You would think Keemstar would just shut down the stream. I guess nobody told her. Nobody told Keemstar that Tina repeated the same thing. So I guess there was no real reason to overreact. He did make a point saying that because of the way the YouTube AI system works, now if for some reason I have to redo this video, then that's why. But Keemstar says something along the line that the AI system, right, the way the AI system on YouTube works, it doesn't distinguish stuff like that, which I don't really think is true, right? And let's be fair about the racist remark and slurs. First off, Zeta said the F words twice. I don't think the stream that was said on Ozzy, I think is still up. One Buff Wee said the N word. Now I get it, he is black, but you would think that regardless of racial, that they would at least like, you know, they'll you know what I mean? They would at least make it a rule that regardless of your race or whatever, you cannot say a slur, even if it's that slur. Even if you are the race of that slur, you cannot say it. But again, one Buff Weed said the N-word. Now, I'm not complaining. I don't really care if they're going to say slurs or not, because that's up to them. And they should acknowledge if they did or didn't. It's really not my place for the most part to... Like, again, like in my eyes, if they say a slur and they get hit for it, that's on them. That's just on them. There's nothing you can do. Right? Maybe it could also be that I don't really care for... I don't care for the freedom of speech. I'm just more practical about it, where I'm just like, hey, people say one thing it's freedom of speech, and another person say it's not freedom of speech. So, you know, and YouTube's a private company, so they get to decide at the end of the day what they consider is perfectly fine and what's not perfectly fine. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, they are forced to do certain things because of ad revenue from ad companies. So there's that to think about. So there's that. But as I said, right, and in the clip, you know, in case this has to be redone later on, you know why. But again, one buff we said it. Tina said it. Slur. Well, no, she said the N word, not the hard R, but just the regular N word. So I'm just here, just thinking to myself, like you guys have said all types of things in the past. Like I don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it, the way they work with that kind of stuff. I mean, hell, even Zayzudis said the G word a few times. So it's like up in the air for what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. At the end of the day, it's not my, again, at the end of the day, it's not my decision whether or not to shut down the stream for a slur. That's Keemstar, and ultimately Keemstar is somebody who is governed by the rules of YouTube. So, you know, again, end of the day, I guess it's really not my decision on that. I'm just here talking about, so and before I move on, they messed with Rastov just a little bit about the whole thing about comet or asteroid hitting the Earth. With the Nothing Burger. No, there was Nothing Burger. Now let's move on to the real stuff that happened with Rewind and Test, because as all of this was going on, Test and Rewind were streaming at the same time. Big whoop, whatever. And usually Test has a tendency to do long hours of streaming. They do basically over 24 hours streams. You know, after the whole thing, and I will keep my final thoughts towards the end of the video, but I will mention it when we get into the Rewind stuff and that. If anything, we're gonna probably go through test first, then rewind. I'll give some of my thoughts. Then we are going to go into the Sunday streams right after that. So let's go.
Arm up to the camera so we can size the tattoo up so everyone can see what it's gonna look like.
I cannot be any more serious about something right now than I am right now with you, Nightmare. The fact that you can't take this seriously with me tells me you're fucking with me. It's only being dead ass right now, and you can't do that.
What do you want me to do?
Be serious with me.
I got the giggles. I'm a silly guy. I'm just a silly guy, you know? How big are we looking, by the way? If we do like...
We're not doing this.
Great. If we do this size, you know? That's not bad. You can hide it with a t-shirt.
Nightmare, I'm not joking. I'll fucking leave, bro.
You're not leaving. You're not leaving. Stop being a silly boop now, okay? Can you turn on your camera and we will talk properly? I can't take it seriously when you.
I just gifted one to our testes.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. 10 away from fucking halfway. Right, okay. So, the lolcowlive, by the way. Grim, can you say thank you? Grim, please say thank you to our supporters.
Nightmare?
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
Okay, Grim. Relax your shit and just say thank you and we'll move on.
Nightmare, I'm not joking.
Tiffany with a gifted
one to our testes.
The Awesome Vow. Holy shit. Thank you very much. Give you a rum ham. Holy shit. This is going so well. Keep us right. All right. Okay, Grim. Look at me. Let's have a chat. Let's have a serious chat. Do you know why this happened?
Why?
You know earlier when you said that you got me good, and I was like, I'll get you back, dude. I'm gonna get you back, dude. And then you were like, oh, yeah, whatever, dude. And I made that little fake game back at you. Well, like, me and the people in the chat here, the beautiful people in the chat, thought it'd be funny if we fuck with you and make a fake goal.
Dret is now a banned world. Cross mark emoji. Dret celebrates 1 month of membership. Nightmare. How much for 7 minutes in heaven?
Ask Buff. He knows more about my homosexuality than I do. GG, though. Talking about. What was that?
Are you trying to make me look like an asshole in front of everybody?
What do you mean?
Do you know how mad I am about this shit?
Why, Grim? It's kind of how you made me look earlier, to be fair. Now we're even. Oh, Graham, come on. I know you're playing this up. There's no way. Can we get some W's in the chat for Grim, guys? Who took this like a beautiful sport. That's wild. Like, over the situation, I was upset because I had a lot of shit to deal with that day. You know, my pet passed away, I hadn't slept, I had a lot of other fucking problems going on. And because I overreacted, I got upset, got my feelings, which I shouldn't have, but you also did, by the way. And you shouldn't have, you made that, I made that. But you couldn't let it fucking go. You just couldn't let any of it fucking go. It just has to be continue. I get it, content brain, right? Everything's content. But like, when is it like, just going from content to just defamation? There you go, he's still talking about being led on this girl. Billy, you don't know what dating show is, bro. You need to get medically examined. It's a fucking joke, bro. It's a fuck. They're still going on there. I had you in. We mentioned it twice. Once in the last stream, once in the stream of the dating show. No, it's not we realized we felt terrible for him. No, you're right, Siley. You know what, Siley, speak some facts. It didn't need to get mentioned. But you know why he mentioned it? Because he can't step out of his own fucking way. I didn't say anymore here again. That was Keen that said that. You fucking retard.
Okay, I don't hear any of this. In case you're
no, I know, because like, I'll tell you what.
It was even
Fuck it, why not?
And it's been eating at me ever since that conversation. And I'm like,
no, because you're gonna step out your own fucking ego, child.
I lost a lot of faith in that conversation that night. And I'm like, might give a fuck about Grim and Nightmare this last week.
You never give a
Nightmare
fuck.
coming at me.
Only give a fuck
when
yourself.
we're having that
Still going over it.
Fucking, what they did to Michelangelo, the things with Beans, my give a fuck is very low. Like, I just don't give a fuck, guys. If I'm on your nerves, if I'm pissing you off.
Oh, dude, I just don't care about you. You are a piece of shit. Go on.
I'm gonna give a fuck with you, Billy. I don't think you gave a fuck from the beginning, bro. When it came to shitting on the smaller shows, which we were one of those, we still are. When it came to like joining on our show, we couldn't get even the smallest amount of support from you, and so we had to like pry it out of you just because of the fact that you wanted to entertain the viewers in a way that was at our detriment. You didn't give a fuck about us right then. I don't see why this is any more different. At this point, this is just giving you another excuse to just add on to another notch to the belt. If we're being completely honest, like you were never on our side. If we're to be buck, never on our side. That's just the reality of it. And that's not me being spiteful or like being mean or anything like that, right? That's just the reality. You were never on our side. Nobody was on our side. I don't blame you.
Michelangelo. We didn't do anything.
I don't expect you to be on our side, bro. That's crazy work. I don't know. Here's what it is.
You gotta be one.
You gotta be one, bro.
You gotta be one.
It's cool. It's fine.
Don't talk about how we tried to like make things right because we felt bad. Because like I said, I wanted to make a fucking public spectacle and make us look bad. I would have done it live, like you probably would have, because you're an evil little cunt. He was never rooting for us. He shat on us every opportunity he got a prime time slot. He deliberately took the piss out of us. And we had to deal with it. You know why? You know why we had to fucking deal with it? Because everyone fucking loves Billy. Tubbs, come in with homophobia, bro. It just shows what kind of fucking people support the fat cunt. I couldn't give a fuck. Come in with that fucking homophobia. I don't give a shit. It just shows how fucking pathetic supporters are. That's what I fucking gotta say. We can act like you got shooters type shit. No matter, do us a favor, bro. Not down. I ain't fucking dealing with those kids right now, dude. No offense to you, your mama, you'll love the dude, but no right now, dude. This stream's just supposed to be for disco dance. No idea what the hell it is. Dude, this is where we have fun usually, and we have chill time, but we don't usually get fucking people just completely accused of fabricated bullshit. Just trying to paint their own narrative.
It's true. That is true.
That's fucking wild, dude. Even Tyler was like, I know why we were talking about this.
I agree, holy shit.
Like, dude, it's fine. Like, if you don't vote me, it doesn't bother. Like, it don't bother me personally, but it definitely fucking bothers the fucking people who are fucking of the LGBT community, whatever, dude. Like, you're just gonna get hidden. That's the way it is. You know.
So in these two clips, because it's better to do what I'm about to do now. You can see how defeated the test boys are, right? After being constantly, more or less being made fun of and being the laughing stock of the LCU for almost more than a week straight, right? And I understand that a lot of these shows don't want to talk about drama. But in the end of the day, you're working with Keemstar. Drama is his middle name now. You know what? At this point, Drama may as well be Keemstar's first name, right? It's not Dan anymore or Daniel, right? It should be Drama, which is funny because they both start with D's. Nuts. But enough of terrible dad jokes. And I get that, but it's stupid because they had the opportunity. Grimm particularly had the opportunity to give his side, his perspective, and everything, and yet he did it and he refused. And he looked so deeply defeated by this, right? That this whole week they were being attacked constantly by Cafe because of, well, Nightmare's tendency to call people homophobic. Nerds, right? Because they've been wanting payback against Tess for a long time. You don't. Let's be real. I wouldn't be surprised if Zay is a person who is deeply petty, and first opportunity he gets for revenge, he gets it. That's life. As Zay Zudit once said, it's a dog-eat-dog world in this entertainment business. I'm not an entertainer. I don't give a shit about stuff like that. I don't even consider myself a commenter. As you know, even Ken said, I'm just a clipper, and that's all that I am. That's all I am, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But as Zay said, right, and I agree, yeah, it's fucked. Anybody can take your position. And guess what? She took the opportunity to rise up to a point where she's above Tess, because there was a period of time where Tess was higher than Nerds. Now Nerds is soaring up, and she has gotten to a point where she has made allies. Now you have everybody against the Test Boys. And what are the Test Boys doing? They're just doing absolutely nothing. They're twiddling their fingers, like, praying and hoping that the situation would just, go away. Right? End of the day, that's not how things work. Right? When there is a big news that hits the internet on YouTube, people cover it. People eat that shit up. And even Keemstar said it himself best, right, on the Sunday stream, that, you know what, if you make a big mistake like this, people are going to eat you up. And if you don't take accountability, people are going to eat you up. And I think he was even straight up telling commenters, right, hey, talk about this as a way to get more eyes onto these channels. I guess that's my job. I guess that's my cue to talk about it. So I was planning to talk about all of this, but I waited to, obviously, when I usually when it's coming to the weekend stream, because a lot of things don't usually happen, but there are some nuggets of stuff that do happen. So I usually wait like I usually get all my clips around Sunday, and then I usually make the video towards Sunday night into like maybe Monday morning, just so I can get ready, right? And so because of that, but regardless of all of that, Grimm had an opportunity to talk about his side, his perspective, and even if he has to take away 30 to an hour of his show talking about it every single day and responding to everybody, he should have done that, but they didn't. And he just kept failing miserably. And if anything, this is a lesson they should learn from, rather than just weeping and crying, right? Now they're going to be on the bottom end, where it's like, hey, even Cafe is going to rise above you. Tech Talk is going to rise above you. Nerds is already going to hit a point where they may be the number 4 or even the number 5 shows at this rate. Tess is in the bottom. Yeah, Tess got a lot of memberships and everything, but the way content is being made and the amount of W's the other shows are getting, Tess is not in a good position. And as this was all happening on Saturday, stuff relating to an individual named Michael Angelo, hopefully I said his name right, stuff came out about him that was very kind of disturbing. And the way they did it, and the way they talked about it, didn't make them look good. And Rewind covered it, and oh boy, it is not good. This is going to be talked about for at least a day or two at the most. This is going to be something that people are going to go at this for at least till Wednesday to Thursday at the most. And I'm here for it, baby. I am here for it. Oh.
Before we start the month, I think it's a good way to start off.
I just want to apologize to Layla. I'm sorry. Had I known that this could happen, I would never have asked you to come on. So I am very sorry about that.
Layla, and I'll say this respectfully, Layla, you're never gonna get that apology, and I'm sorry to say that to you, but you'll definitely get that apology from us. We're sorry to put you in that position.
Yeah.
You'll never get that apology from them, but you'll get at least one from us. I know that's not what you want, but that's just the reality of the world. You know what you're dealing with.
To be queens. It's really like Tiffany. But it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I feel bad.
You Jess, I appreciate that, but we can't do that.
You guys are good people here, man. Good people that don't deserve bullshit that's going on. Like, I'm fine if you know what I mean? Like, Nightmare, like, I'm fine with you and I.
Have they got Painkiller in there?
I saw him in Members Waiting, yeah. Why?
Didn't he get banned from the server because he called me the N-word? Oh, okay. No. By the way, that's the guy who doxed me, so I wouldn't be surprised if they actually revealed information.
Yep. What I was gonna say is, I'm sure you can agree with me that from here on out we need to just.
What's that? I have to tell him.
Yep.
I don't want to argue. I just want to let you know the guy that you have on your literally doxed all my flight information and called me the N-word. I just.
Okay. Okay. Go away.
I just
Ben
want
Killer,
to
that's
protect my
not good.
personal information.
Have a good one, Ben Killer. That's fair.
I don't want to argue.
I'm getting rid of him.
I just don't want my personal information leaked. Thank you.
That's fair.
Why would we?
No, him saying it, not you.
That guy.
Oh,
Yeah, I got rid of him.
okay.
Thank you. There we go.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, I had to tell him because I was worried that he was going to leak all my fucking personal information. The guy literally doxed me. If you remember.
Mm-hmm. I remember. Thank you, Fozzie Isborn. We appreciate you, sir. Or ma'am. Nightmare, if I mean this legitimately. If you want to take a break away from the camera, that'd be preferable. You don't gotta do this, bro. You know what I mean? It's all good, bro. You're all good, man. It's just frustrating. I get it, bro. Guys, sorry, I'm doing magic over here because it helps me, like, because what people say is one thing, what people do is another. For example, it stuck out for me. Yo mama, what he did, noble. What this is, it's dumb, stupid, it's childish. It's all he said, she said, womp 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 womp. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So, you could do me the favor, Nightmare. Maybe we could turn off that stream. Not this stream, but the one you're listening to. Cool? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Rest off did not blame y'all. That's cool. Either way, we know what we're doing. Or we know what we've done. In terms of, like, doing the right thing and whatnot. So, we stand on business. You know what I'm saying? Right, Nightmare?
Yeah.
Alright, bro. You want to talk about, let's see. Wait. Did you ever get into magic?
Fuck it.
What?
Come for me, Billy. No, fuck it. You just got me to get out the emotions I've been suppressing. Thank you very much for that. That's the last time you'll see a weakness. Come for me, Billy. I fucking dare you. You've been on this internet a lot longer than me. I'm sure I can find plenty of fucking skeletons in your shitty closet. Let's really have a game. Yeah? There we go. I got my emotion out. I'm fucking feeling great. Let's really have a game, Billy. Come on now. Master Manipulator. Come on. Are you so sad, Pookie, that I've been living rent-free in that fucking little chronic little dome of yours, that hollow little head of yours for so fucking long?
Here we go.
Are you really that fucking pressed? Ah, that feels good. It feels good to let that out. Thank you for that. The toxic masculinity that you stand on the ground of makes it really hard for men to show emotion. It's the first time in years I've managed to do that, so thank you. That really helped. Now I've got that out. There's actually nothing.
Now, what are we seeing is, so after this is happening, trust me, we'll go into the rewind stuff when we get into the rewind stuff, because Nightmare was listening to the stuff that was going on in rewind, and he was basically having a crash out on live, and he was not happy. He was not in that state of mind anymore. He was basically defeated. And that's how it felt, that by the end of the test stream, they were just defeated. And trust me, this carries over to Sunday. Really carries into Sunday. That defeatedness, that position of like, we've been beaten and there's no way of recovering. And then Nightmare kind of gets himself out of that mindset and is ready to fully go to war with Rewind, which basically he backed off the day after. For now. You never know what goes on in the LCU. As I said before, you could be on top the one day and you could be on the bottom the next day. Or sometimes you can be on top for a whole week and then the next week you could be on the bottom. And that has happened for show to show. Queens, Milkers, Live even. For a bit of time, Rewind, Nerds, right now currently Tez. Tech Talk a little bit as well. Every show has at least been on top for a while, only to hit the bottom. It's like the stock in chain. It's like stocks or crypto. One day it's high, the next day it's low. You know, everybody believes in you now, and then no one believes you the next day, and that's how it is with the LCU. And even Keemstar straight up said that. Keemstar even said that. When you get a W, you get a W. But when you get an L, you get an L harder than you get a W. And with the Michelangelo stuff that the Rewind guys covered, I was just like, wait a minute, this can't be true. But let's go into it now. Oh boy, guys, save me.
Things go off between the two of you. Wouldn't it be cool to have your name up on the pay pig list next to her name? You'd be if you two were a couple, wouldn't it be cool for you both to be pay pigs? You know, your names could show up on the pay pig list. And he's like, yeah, I guess that would be cool. And they do the date, and he's being really funny, and she's really like gassing him up and being really, really sweet and loving to him, really giving him like the treatment. And he's saying like she's the girl of his dreams, right? Ben Killis is sadly gets drunk. So he's falling for this girl. At the end of the stream's over. He's had a great time with this girl on stream. Nightmare goes, so what about the pay pig? You said you were going to pay pig up, huh? And he's like, yeah, let me check my bank account. And see if my money's in there. And he goes and he checks his bank account and he becomes a pay pig. And then immediately after the stream, they're all in an after call and they're like, yeah, that was not serious. She doesn't really like you. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like a little hurt. He's trying to be cool about it. They're like in the chat the next day. They're doing their big long stream. They're all having fun and like they're all talking bad about him, joking about him because he was kind of like he was gooner on the stream. He was being a bit of a gooner. He was acting up. He was being funny. He was the gooner.
She was too a little bit.
Yeah. So he's like really regretting becoming a pay pig. He's really feeling like discourses didn't happen like at fucking all. If I'm wrong, dude, I don't know. This is how I thought. It. Yeah, well, this is how I was told from multiple parties. And this is how people watched. This is how things I saw. This is how I was told. Space Girl, if I have to say one thing, I love Rastov. So he felt super bummed by it. He felt like he was kind of like fleeced. And honestly, it looks like the hot girl asks him out on a date as a joke, makes him pay for dinner, then laughs with all her friends that the nerd guy got fleeced, right? That's kind of how it looks, right? And everybody laughs at the nerdy guy. And then like they were like, hey, could you please not talk about it? Like, can you please not talk about it? And he was like, okay, but then he sees them joking about him, and he's like, this is fucked up. They're joking about me. He sent screenshots to Rastov, like, why am I not allowed to talk about it, but they're allowed to joke about me in the chat? So it's like, yeah, that is fucked up. And he's telling people that he feels like he was scammed, you know? He was ripped off. And he sends Rastov a DM explaining everything, and for a while now, he's felt like other shows were trying to get him to pay pig, and they were kind of like forcing him to pay pig, and due to his autism, it felt like he was being pressured, you know? And it's like, I don't know if it was a regular person without autism, maybe it would still be pressuring. I don't know. But to him, it's like very like, it didn't fit. In the message he sent to Rastov, he said, my mom says I don't make enough money to be pay picking to these shows. And when I read that, and I was in the Rewind voice chat, I read that when I asked Michelangelo what was up, he said, I'll send you what I sent to Rastov. I guess he just sent it to Rastov. When I read that in the Rewind voice chat, I audibly gasped. I was like, oh, fuck. And people in the Rewind voice chat were like, what's going on? And I was like, ah. And I kind of was like, I was having a moment where I'm thinking like, what do I say? Because I don't want to make things weird. So I'm like, I'll say this. I don't want to say too much about the situation. I don't think Michelangelo is in a position to be pay picking to any channels, and he regrets pay picking to Test. And that was probably me saying too much, right? That was probably me saying too much. And I saw Michelangelo was in the Nerds Voice chat, so I went down into the Nerds Voice chat, and I was talking with him because I just wanted to, like, give this guy a little hug, you know?
You needed a W.
Yeah, just give him a little hug. Just hang out with him. Just be, like, a friend. And the Nightmare comes in there, and he's like, Michelangelo, will you come into the voice chat with me, Billy? You can come in, too, so you can be his witness. And I'm like, sure, yeah. And we go up into one of the studios that we do lives in, and I'm in there with Nightmare, and the first thing Nightmare says is like, so I heard you spent your disability check on the
Okay, so was everything, so did he go out of pocket with anything? Talking about like Michelangelo and how he felt and shit like that. Was Billy out of pocket with anything that he said?
No, Michelangelo was actually, he was devastated. Like I talked to him many times.
Can you
about
please
this for multiple
elaborate?
days.
Can you please elaborate to a certain extent, obviously, but could you please elaborate on your talks with Michelangelo about that, please?
So he literally
Reporter is out, baby, and this is how you fucking do it.
He genuinely thought that he had met the girl of his dreams. Like he literally called her his dream girl, and that he was really upset and disappointed. And the comment that Billy made about his mum saying you can't afford to be a pay pig, that is true. He did send that to me, and that broke my fucking heart, man.
Yeah,
it's like I had talked to him about. Yeah, I talked to him about being a pay pig again a while ago because he wanted to be a pay pig to Ozzy again, and he was like, "I'm so sorry, I can't afford it." I was like, "Cool, bro. Like, you jump on the shows to make content for us, like,
Period.
you know, all good. Like,
That's
no
like,
problem."
listen, Michelangelo, he kind of gets on my nerves. I had him blocked on Discord for like a week and a half, but he's like my oi, oi, oi brother, all right? We do the whole Rastov, Bucky's thing, oi, oi, oi together. That's,
Oi,
yeah,
oi, oi,
exactly,
oi,
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 oi.
oi. That's
Oi,
what
oi.
me and Michelangelo do together, okay? That's our
Like,
bonding moment.
Michelangelo.
No, okay,
Like
so,
the only
so
difference
Billy,
is right. So Test Boys are coming from the other side where they are looking out for their fan, who is the girl. Which totally get it, right? You're gonna look after their fan. We look after Michelangelo. My only like goal from this whole thing was to protect the both of them, right?
Yeah.
Because they are the fans. They aren't the hosts.
Yeah.
They don't run the shows. That was my goal to make sure that they were okay.
Yeah, and listen,
I didn't even
don't
bring up the
go-
other fan's name when I was telling
Yeah,
the story.
exactly. And
No,
if
you
you
didn't.
find out, and if you watch Tess and you find out who she is or whatever, listen, do not give her shit. Do not give her shit. Don't go
No.
bullying her. Don't go what it is when a dogpile. Don't go and dogpile on her. Don't do any of that shit. Because if you do that,
Don't do it
shit,
to
you're
either of
fucking
them.
wrong. Don't do it to either one of them.
Yep, because they were just trying to put on a good show, and Michelangelo unfortunately caught feelings, thinking that it was Jen. Because hey, look, everybody fucking watching, especially everyone I talked to, I thought that shit was real. I thought she like really liked him. She jumped into the Aussie chat saying she was excited for the date. Like he dressed up in a suit and practiced. I was happy for our little guy. And then when he got fucked, I was like, oh. So
I thought
you know,
so,
and I
too.
want
That's
to
why I was
make it
watching.
very, 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 very clear. He did not ask for a refund. Him and I had a conversation saying, you live and learn, bro. Shit happens. We move on. Let's just let it go. But then someone who works with Test had suggested doing the refund, and then they were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, let's look at doing that." So then they came to Michelangelo, right? He did not ask for his money back at all.
Rastov. All right, Granny's watching in the chat had a question. All right, and I think is actually a valid question because this is the whole reason why I didn't want this to come out. Granny's watching said, "Does Michelangelo know this is now the topic? Is he okay with it?" So go ahead and tell him what he said in the talk.
So we specifically said we weren't going to talk about it for Michelangelo and the girl. And Keem said to Michelangelo, "Nah, bro, you should let us talk about it. I got your back." And we were like, "No, Michelangelo, you don't have to talk about it." And his exact words were, "You can talk about it. Keem's got my back." So
And Keem, okay, let me tell y'all, and Rostov can tell you because there, and so is Billy, because I like to have two backups when I talk shit, okay? I can tell you now, when Keem heard about it, he was fucking pissed.
He was. Now, I do want to also say, I do not believe that Test.
So give you more context. Basically, there was a guy named Michelangelo, and he is a fan of the other show. He's not a big fan of Test. And there was a girl who was involved with the test crew, the test guys. I can't say the other word right now. I'm very tired. And he was one of the girls from the test people. Felt kind of not really romantic, but he was kind of flirting with Michelangelo. Now Michael, I'm just gonna call him Michael now. is an individual who is highly autistic, and people who are very highly autistic take things very serious. They can't read a lot of social cues and stuff like that, and you can't really blame a guy, right? Well, there's more stuff to it. Well, I'll get into it when we get into my honest opinion, and some people may not agree what I'm going to say on this situation, but the one thing I would say is, if a guy is highly autistic, and I understand that we got into this situation related to Eric, whether or not should you treat somebody similar or should you treat them the same as anybody else. And when you get into a situation like that with this kind of individual who is highly autistic, who, nothing wrong with living with your parents. That I would never insult anybody for living with their parents. Some people will, some people don't. Some people use it as the butt of the joke. It is what it is, especially nowadays in its particular world we live. It is what it is, right? But, somebody that his mom even tells him, like, hey, I don't think you could be spending this much money. You can't be spending your... I think it's the SII check or disability check. Not my word. They said it. They mentioned the check that he gets from the government. I'm not doxing the guy. This is what's been said on Rewind, Taz, and even lolcowlive. You can look it up. It's right there. I'm just going to make that very clear that I think it's either a disability check or SSI check that he gets from the government, and that's been mentioned from the shows. Whether or not they should mention that, it's not my place. That's their place to say it. I'm only repeating what they've said. It's one of those two things. Unless they're the same, I do apologize in advance. And because of that, it kind of makes me look at the situation. It's kind of disgustingly gross. That to the point where even Keemstar takes some blame for it. Think about that. Even Keemstar, of all people, takes some responsibility, because I think he acknowledged that this situation doesn't end well, or it could easily not end well. And the fact that Rewind is talking about this but not Tess kind of also shows you that it's a weird thing, because they talk about taking responsibility, yet they're not willing to talk about it until even some people will even say, I think Billy even said it himself, that they gave him money. Yeah, they refunded the guy because the guy eventually went on a dating show on the test. This girl flirted with her and all that. Everything went well. And then Michelangelo asked the girl, like, hey, are we a thing? And the girl was like, no. Billy kind of said that she made a backdrop. There's a whole bunch of complications of stuff that is so messy. It is disgusting. Not simply on the test, guys, but just how the LCU function. And let's be real, them not talking about it. If so, like, let's talk about. Let's be real. If this isn't being talked about, let's just say hypothetically that this was between Live and Rewind, and nobody else talked about it, right? And a bunch of other commenters, that even Keemstar said himself, commenters be talking about it, they will rip Tess apart. And not even just Tess, but the LCU as a whole will be ripped apart. Mostly on the end of Tess. But the LCU as a whole will get a huge blunder out of it, because, like, why are you letting your own host doing that? And for Keemstar to talk about this, when we will get into it in a bit, the smart move on his end, because now he's able to monopolize that. He's able to monopolize that drama to his end. And trust me, this will probably go on for, as I said, probably will go on to either Wednesday or to Thursday. And the test boys are going to have to be forced to talk about it, and they're going to have to be forced to respond to everybody's criticism. They just have to.
Both of you, you're fucking brats. You had opportunities here to be good fucking hosts. You had people who believed in you. All you've done is spit and piss in the face of people who have helped you along the way. Don't mess with Test. Fuck that. You mess with yourselves.
So there you have it. Let me see. Shout out to Hollywood Huggy for clipping that. We appreciate our clip channels when they, look, if someone steals our content and just uploads it, go fuck yourself. But that guy kind of put the story together, right? Took clips from Test and from what Billy said last night.
They got me. Grim was like, well, listen, the way I see it, this is kind of like if you go out on a date with a woman and you have sex with a woman, and then after the date, the woman is like, no, that was rape. And I'm like,
bro, what?
Yeah.
You let her just give his money back and say nothing?
Yeah. After that, I'm like,
If Grim said that, that's crazy. Bro, if Grim said that, I mean, I don't know. Billy's talking about a private conversation that happened in the Discord with him there, Rastov there, Michelangelo, and the Test Boys. And if Grim said that, bro, come on. What is happening? You know, part of me feels bad for Test. Test was the last performing show in the month of April. They should have been fired. And then this month, they hit the safe zone. Any show in the LCU that does like $15K a month, that's like you're a show now. Like you're a solidified show. I'm not gonna fuck with your show. You've hit. I always say $15,000 for a month for a show makes it like a permitted show that I'm not gonna mess with, right? Because that you have now created a show. But how Test went from last place to now the safe zone, in my eyes, in my opinion, and I don't want to take this win away from them, but in my opinion, a lot of e-bagging. And that's why I feel responsible for this. I don't like it because I put pressure on Test to not be last place, to get into the safe zone. You know, I put pressure on these shows to perform and be successful. And this is what they resorted to be successful. And I fucking hate it. I'm a content creator, you know. You guys watch the show. We try to create good content, you know. I want all the shows to do that. You're supposed to be rewarded through memberships and super chats based on providing a good show. And what I've seen from Test, and again, I haven't seen a lot. I don't watch the show a lot, but what I've seen from that show is almost like a fucking telethon. You know what I mean? Do you remember back in the day, like the old school telethons where they're trying to raise money for some charity or something? Like every time I tune into that show, that's the vibe I get from Test. And it can't be like that. Your shows cannot be like that. Shreddy Cougar, welcome to Cash Cow. Neglected Tipples, thank you for the 5. Now, I don't know if there's like Test fans here, but just people that have seen Test, like, do you agree with me that their show comes across like a telethon? You know, we gotta get these pay pigs, we gotta get this. And it's like, welcome Avalon to Cash Cow, thank you so much. It's like, to me, it's hard to then criticize Test because I know what Test's response would be. Well, you guys have goals on lolcowlive. Rewind does
Boy
goals.
5,221 super chatted $20. I got my check on Friday. Take my money, lol.
Can you guys stop fucking with me right now? I'm serious. I feel bad about this. Can you stop? Anyhow, let's continue.
Shout out to Huggy for being mentioned from lolcowlive. Let's go. All right. Let me be more energetic because I am very tired. I'm trying to knock this out. I'm gonna be real with you guys. This video may be a lot longer than it needs to be, so I may have to cut some fat out. But let's get back to the video. As I said, Keemstar takes responsibility because he did put a lot of pressure onto the smaller shows to be successful, and because of that dilemma, it resulted in the way this was handled. Obviously, something like this shouldn't not be happening in the LCU, but let's be real. I feel like when we look at the LCU and their dramas and all the stuff they got into, this is pretty bad. No matter how much you try to debate this looks bad no matter what. But let's also be really real. Is anybody really surprised about this? And I think that's probably where my opinion lies the most. Is, are you really surprised? I was kind of disgusted. I was very disturbed. But then I realized, am I surprised? And no, I am not surprised. How many times we've seen the LCU do stuff like this? How many times have we seen the LCU let hosts get away with this stuff? Number of times. Keemstar does feel responsible because the amount of pressure he put onto the little show, and I think he's realizing that now. At the same time, if this goes any further than outside of the LCU, it could result in a lot of damage. Now, the Wings stuff is a good example where that went out so far from the LCU that honestly, Wings being let go was probably going to be one of the only options left. But if this goes even further, right, because when we look at the individual drama among the LCU, they've done a pretty good job in closing it. They did a good job. Right, the stuff with Becky, the stuff with Michael, the stuff with Michael again, the stuff with Wings, Boogie. For the most part, for one way or another, they have done a good job in controlling the drama. But at the same time, these people do deserve their local status. And I don't really feel bad for the most part. I don't feel bad for the test guys because they're locals in their own right. For just a number of reasons. For Michelangelo, and I think I'll get into it towards the very end of this video, so I want to keep my opinions about that towards the very end. But just for Keemstar to acknowledge what he's done, and let's be fair, there's been a lot of heavy criticism of the shows for their e-begging, and it's gotten way too far. To the point where they even bring up the idea of parasocial relationships, which again, I'll get into it, and I may do a separate video talking about the parasocial relationship issue within the LCU. But we'll get into it when we get into that day.
Afraid like she tricked him and was gonna.
She did! You just told me she did!
Let's be fair to Lila. Let's say this. Let's say she fully had feelings for him, and then during the thing, she didn't. At the end, she said, "Yeah, I'm totally up for another date. It's totally in Michelangelo's court." That's what she said at the end of the show. And then after, Michelangelo said, "So are we official now?" And she said, then she changed her tune when she was off air. That was very quick to change her tune, but she could change her tune at any time, right? She can. But that was very quick to change her tune.
Hey, I'm sorry, Chroma, what is the defensive test? Help us help test.
They're funny.
They're funny, and I just want to say, like...
They're guilty. That's what you're saying. They're guilty as shit. What the fuck, Chroma? They're guilty. What is this?
I genuinely feel like they're going to hate me now.
No, they better not. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just telling the story from your perspective.
Oh, you want to know why they would hate you, Chroma? Because it's not Nightmare's fault. It's not Grimm's fault. It's your fault. That's why they would hate you.
If they hate you, that's just running a cult at 2 a.m.
It's a fucking cult. What is this shit?
Delusional Freak super chatted $20.41. Wow, this sounds even worse than I thought.
Bro,
why
you're
can we all
telling
see
me?
it, but the test boys don't?
I thought they did something stupid. I thought they went a little overboard, and they made it right by doing the refund. That's where I was at. But I was like, this is something we should talk about in the community, so this doesn't happen again. But they did the right thing. They refunded him. This is way worse than I thought. This is bad. Bro.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of breaking down.
Well, I don't know why you're broken down. You're just telling the truth. Bro,
like, how could you have done anything wrong here? You were watching a show. You were enjoying your hosts. They were in control of the show. They've dropped the ball. You trusted them to run the show well. If they drop the ball again by blaming you for anything, this is another fuck up on their part. Don't feel bad. You're not responsible for their actions.
This is wild.
Here's the thing, is like, it's because of the fact that like I am close with Nightmare and I care about him a lot as a friend, and the fact
that's part of the problem. You're a fan of their show. This is a parasocial relationship they are cultivating at 2 a.m. This is the part of the problem. You are close with Nightmare because he's got you on his show every night in the audience, and he tells you he loves you. Thank you. Oh, you're so special to me. And now he's got you breaking down because you're just being honest.
Dude,
well, here's the thing too, is like I wasn't.
Chroma, you need to switch that membership over to Live because I'll tell you to fuck off. I'll just be like, fuck off. I'm not gonna sit here and try to be your best friend.
Well, here's the thing. We talked personally before I even was a fan of Tess. We talked personally.
Yeah, because Nightmare was a friend of everybody in the Discord. I agree. Nightmare was right there with everybody in the Discord. He came up through the ranks. He was the homie.
And here's the thing too that I just want to point out, because I feel like I don't even know if either of you are aware. I had made fan art for both of them, and Nightmare wanted to support me as like an artist and wanted to sell the like fan art. I made the stained glass piece of Sister Butch. I've made the stained glass piece of Grimm as a priest. I had made like his snake that has passed away. I made art for them. Nightmare has constantly said like, listen, I will give you half of my shares when we get this on merch, and I want to support you because you're an artist and you're clearly very talented, and I feel like that's not being showcased enough for somebody that is talented.
So you would lie for him and you would cover for him as opposed to just tell the truth instead? You're not doing anything wrong. He should respect you as a friend and let you tell your truth, right?
Yeah.
FreeWoo92 Super Chat
Fine then.
$20. Host have to cut out these parasocial relationships. It's not healthy for the fans and it's not healthy for the host. These hosts taking this ish way too far. Parasocial relationships aren't healthy for anyone.
Okay, well listen, when it comes to parasocial, like the LolcowLive universe, in a way, is somewhat parasocial, right? Yeah. Like, and it's just
The
your
Circus and Side Chat Super Chatted $20. This girl is in on her and the other one work for Nightmare finding marks to exploit.
Look,
I don't think
we have a members only Discord. We make friends on the Discord. Like our crowns and stuff, there's always going to be some level of parasocial stuff, which is fine and healthy, right? But some of this stuff is not healthy. Some of this stuff crosses a fucking line, all right? Yeah. And
afraid like she tricked him and was gonna.
She did. You just told me she did.
Let's be fair to Lila. Let's say this. Let's say she fully had feelings for him, and then during the thing she didn't. At the end, she said, "Yeah, I'm totally up for another date. It's totally in Michelangelo's court." That's what she said at the end of the show. And then after, Michelangelo said, "So are we official now?" And she said, then she changed her tune when she was off air. That was very quick to change her tune, but she could change her tune at any time, right? She can. But that was very quick to change her tune.
Hey, I'm sorry, Chroma, what is the defensive test? Help us help test.
They're funny.
They're funny, and I just want to say, like...
They're guilty. That's what you're saying. They're guilty as shit. What the fuck, Chroma? They're guilty. What is this?
I genuinely feel like they're going to hate me now.
No, they better not. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just telling the story from your perspective.
Oh, you want to know why they would hate you, Chroma? Because it's not Nightmare's fault. It's not Grimm's fault. It's your fault. That's why they would hate you.
If they hate you, that's just running a cult at 2 a.m.
It's a fucking cult. What is this shit?
Delusional Freak Super Chatted $20.41. Wow, this sounds even worse than I thought.
Bro,
Why
you're
can we all
telling
see
me.
it, but the test boys don't?
I thought they did something stupid. I thought they went a little overboard and they made it right by doing the refund. That's where I was at. But I was like, this is something we should talk about in the community so this doesn't happen again. But they did the right thing. They refunded him. This is way worse than I thought. This is bad. Bro.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of breaking down.
Well, I don't know why you're broken down. You're just telling the truth. Bro,
Like, how could you have done anything wrong here? You were watching a show. You were enjoying your hosts. They were in control of the show. They've dropped the ball. You trusted them to run the show well. If they drop the ball again by blaming you for anything, this is another fuck up on their part. Don't feel bad. You're not responsible for their actions.
This is wild.
Here's the thing, is like, it's because of the fact that like I am close with Nightmare and I care about him a lot as a friend, and the fact
That's
is, like,
part of the problem. You're a fan of their show. This is a parasocial relationship they are cultivating at 2 a.m. This is the part of the problem. You are close with Nightmare because he's got you on his show every night in the audience, and he tells you he loves you. Thank you. Oh, you're so special to me. And now he's got you breaking down because you're just being honest.
Dude,
well, here's the thing too, is like I wasn't.
Chroma, you need to switch that membership over to Live because I'll tell you to fuck off. I'll just be like, fuck off. I'm not going to sit here and try to be your best friend.
Well, here's the thing. We talked personally before I even was a fan of Tess. We talked personally.
Yeah, because Nightmare was a friend of everybody in the Discord. I agree. Nightmare was right there with everybody in the Discord. He came up through the ranks. He was the homie.
And here's the thing too that I just want to point out because I feel like I don't even know if either of you are aware. I had made fan art for both of them, and Nightmare wanted to support me as like an artist and wanted to sell the like fan art. I made the stained glass piece of Sister Butch. I've made the stained glass piece of Grimm as a priest. I had made like his snake that has passed away. I made art for them. Nightmare has constantly said like, listen, I will give you half of my shares when we get this on merch, and I want to support you because you're an artist and you're clearly very talented, and I feel like that's not being showcased enough for somebody that is talented.
So you would lie for him and you would cover for him as opposed to just tell the truth instead? You're not doing anything wrong. He should respect you as a friend and let you tell your truth, right?
Yeah.
FreeWoo92 Super Chat
Fine then.
$20. Host have to cut out these parasocial relationships. It's not healthy for the fans and it's not healthy for the host. These hosts taking this ish way too far. Parasocial relationships aren't healthy for anyone.
Okay, well listen, when it comes to parasocial, like the LolcowLive universe, in a way, is somewhat parasocial, right? Yeah. Like, and it's just
The Circus and Side Chat Super Chatted $20. This girl is in on her and the other one work for Nightmare finding marks to exploit.
Look,
I don't think
we have a members only Discord. We make friends on the Discord. like our crowns and stuff, there's always going to be some level of parasocial stuff, which is fine and healthy, right? But some of this stuff is not healthy. Some of this stuff crosses a fucking line. All right.
Yeah.
And
in on the joke, but then started our feelings for in the middle of the stream. What does that tell
Right,
you?
right. Totally, right? But literally, he was convinced by how good it was, right? Just like.
So there we go. So he got convinced.
He was convinced by how good it was.
Okay, so
in the middle of the stream,
which I feel terrible for, which is why we try to make things right. But does that not tell you that he knew it was a joke, though?
I suppose he knew it was. I don't know.
So there we go.
I know that he didn't. He felt like she was really into him. I don't know the whole story.
During the stream, I can't help that though. What am I supposed to do about that? But we just got confirmation there from that conversation we had that's what he said in that conversation. And also,
you got confirmation from Rastov agreeing with you when you're arguing over.
No, Billy, no, I wasn't. You were trying to make it seem like I was poverty shaming when I was trying to make the situation because I felt fucking terrible that he might not be able to pay for his food bill or anything.
You know what?
That's what really happened.
You know what?
Because you couldn't get out your feelings for 2 seconds.
That's literally.
I had to ask you. To like put our feelings for each other aside. And I have another clip if you want tonight. That's fine. Because I listened to Rastov confirming it all.
Please. Whatever's happening with Nightmare with Michelangelo's feelings, I saw his feelings. If he changed in the middle of the thing, he was still hurt.
And that's why I felt
pressured him to pay pig, and that's the problem.
And we felt bad because it didn't come across that to us. But again, that's because I treat everyone the exact same fucking way. I didn't see it as, let's manipulate the autistic guy. I didn't see it as that. I treat everyone the exact same way. Maybe I should have dealt with it differently. I admit to that. And I made that known in our conversation. The reason why we didn't want it public was because I didn't want to fucking make a PR stunt of it to try and make it seem like we were trying to make ourselves look good for refunding a man who regretted something. It was nothing to do with making us look guilty.
I don't think
the conversation we had the next day was Keem said, no, we're talking about this point. Like after the whole situation, I didn't say you said it was nothing burger, Keem. What I was trying to say was at the end when you're like, let's sort it now, there's no worth talking about.
You use the word nothing burger.
Well, yeah, but what I mean is like what I was saying is, which again you've taken out of context. I didn't say that the actual situation was a nothing burger. I said at the end you're like, it's sorted. There's no point talking about it. I use my own like terms in there as well. Okay.
And my point for talking about it was so you guys couldn't do this again, so the audience would know the way you operate, so they could hold you
your
accountable.
Point was because you're still upset about the Dioc joke thing. Because it's funny how you couldn't talk about the Michelangelo situation for longer than 10 seconds without mentioning the Dioc joke. You got in your personal feelings, Billy, and you used it. You don't care about it. You don't care. Like, no, you don't.
I do care about it. He's one guy versus you and the test machine. The test machine, and he's one guy.
No, we felt terrible, which is why we try to make it fucking better.
Which is why you still don't take accountability for it right now.
Nightmare, stop. Can I ask you a question? You're claiming that Billy doesn't care about the situation.
I am, absolutely.
Okay. Why does everyone else care? Why do I care?
No, I'm not saying that nobody else cares. I'm saying that Billy's using it as a point of a weapon. You didn't bring it up because he felt bad for you. You brought it up because he just does not.
Time out.
I'm not. I'm giving you my opinion.
I'm gonna leave this conversation moving forward, okay? If Billy's using it as a weapon, then it's a weapon. Then you fucked up. You're acknowledging that this is a bad thing that happened on your show.
We felt terrible that he was upset and regretted it. Absolutely. It fucking hurt us. And, and the thing is, like, the whole idea of like the parasocial natures that you guys are trying to bring up, like, that's not true.
Now, that's just towards the very end of the video, and eventually Nightmare and Grim take accountability. Now, before those clips, I did put 3 clips together because I just wanted to tell a bit of a story right then and there about how a fan of Tess comes up, try to give a different perspective, or at least try to protect them, and then only to reveal more truth than that was supposed to be released. And then she starts breaking down because she thinks she's going to be hated by them, which is, let's be fair, they're not exactly wrong. She's not exactly wrong for having those feelings, because you never know what the relationship between viewer and host, right, are going to be like. And so because of that, she broke down in her failed attempt to protect these guys, which did not end well, and if anything, it made them look bad. Now, Billy being Billy, and again, I'll get into it now. Whether or not I think Billy really cares for Michelangelo, I'm a little split, because on one hand, Billy tries to sometimes portray himself as a bit of a sociopath or a psychopath, yet in other times, he's so a very clear human character, which it doesn't really make him that much. But then again, somebody could still be kind of a psychopath or a sociopath, because those words get interchanged a lot. Whatever. Not the point. We're not getting into this whole talk about psychologies, because do you think these people have a good understanding of psychology, not simply as a medical thing, but a deeper understanding? Because when you really get into psychology, there's a real deep philosophic thing behind it, and most people don't really talk about it. They really just go off of more of a baseline. You're not going to see people talk about Freud or Freudian theory on the whole psychology or Jung, right? You may actually see that more from Ruby, so shout out to Ruby for that one. But nevertheless, even with all of that being done, it just doesn't look good for the Test boys, and I guess I can finally get into this whole parasocial relationship now, which is the result of the LCU and on their end. Let's be real. Queens had the biggest parasocial relationship out there, 100%. And so does Tess, but so does the rest of the shows from one region or another. And I believe because of that parasocial issue that's now being confronted, Keemstar has no choice now but to deal with it here and now, which I think was always what's going to be built up. Hell, you could even say to some extent some of the hosts have parasocial relationship with the other hosts, which is funny because most of the hosts already met each other. And in the case of Beans and Grimm, they dated, so there's that, right? In the end of the day, what they did is disgusting, but because this has been done on the LCU platform, it makes them look even worse. And I think in a way, this is Keemstar's attempt, and even Billy's attempt to kind of not sweep it under the rug, but more or less to do damage control before it gets out of hand and before people start to talk about it in massive droves. Let's be real. This is all being done, and I'm going to be very careful how I say this. I'm not saying they don't care about Michelangelo. That could be debated. I think in a way Billy does, so does Keemstar, so does the other hosts, but at the same time, you also have to acknowledge something else. If this gets out of hand even more than it is now, this could damage the LCU big time. And given that the LCU is in a position where they're in a state of stagnation, yet the smaller shows are growing, they can't, and again, even with these smaller shows growing and maybe them even getting out of this form of stagnation, if this goes further than it is, people will pick apart the story bit by bit to the point where it'll get out of hand. And I truly do believe this is the result of them doing damage control. Maybe some people think I'm being too jaded or too cynical, but I'm being 100% real when I say this is just damage control. But also, at the way of Keemstar signaling, this is also Keemstar's attempt to tell the other hosts, cover these stories because you will get viewership, money. So it goes both ways. It's damage control and for other shows to get views and money. And truthfully, I don't even know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But then again, I've always did say, you can be a moral F-slur on the internet. You can't. You can't be a moral person on the internet. Especially if you're on YouTube. It's just the truth. And maybe I am jaded for thinking like that.
We'll see.
All I know is, I'm like, I've already had my yell about it, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to yell again when we start looking at things that were said. But I am going to say this, and I said it in the voice chat. I'll say it now. I don't give a fuck. Unless you're in my inner circle, I'm not fucking helping anybody anymore. I refuse. And I know that I have been this whole entire time trying to come up with many reasons why Grim and Nightmare messed up. And I would say that I don't think it was done malicious, but they did fuck up because they're new. And, okay, let me finish, please. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore because apparently I'm just a flip-flopper, right?
As someone who hops on occasion, I do knowing that there will be people talking about me, good or bad. I got 3 JD Vances and other comparisons. I was in the clips from the clip channel Keem watched. Don't hop on otherwise.
Yeah. You're live in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people, right?
Okay, Blitzwolf has a great question because this is actually a state of contention too, being the commentary YouTuber I am. I don't know if I agree, Xylee. That's a bit of a slope. You may as well be saying you're a public figure for simply having a Twitter account. Guess what? Anything you type on Twitter, if it has something to do with a story that I'm talking about, I can absolutely use what you type on Twitter as content. Why? Because you don't own those tweets. Twitter does. 100%.
Well, they're public. Shinobi Ben says, imagine calling into a show when you're literally the main focal point of the show, but you're not part of the content. You made that choice. Phantom Voices to the fan that called in on live today saying that he was both in on it and saying he should have known better. Which is it? Can't have it both ways. Exactly. That's the problem. I think that it's there is the double speak, right? Like having it both ways is a big part of the problem. And it is what it is. I don't want to harp too much on what happened, because what happened. It's about what happens going forward. Like, Keem.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the girl was trying to help her boys out. All right. And she went in there with the intention of trying to help them out. And I think they were too stupid to realize what was fucking going on. And they ran with it. I'm going to be honest. That's what I think.
Midnight Rider says, Billy, do you hold the man accountable for any of it? What did he do? He got hurt. That's all. He had a fun stream. He thought the girl was into him. He got his feelings hurt. He felt like he was duped. And then afterwards, he was hurting, right? That's all he did. Did he go around starting shit and telling them that they were wrong for doing what they did? No, he just...
Call you out though on dolls, Max, because I saw you trying to get that Riz, and I just want to say I felt like you should have gone up there and shot your shot. Anybody who I saw risen up the dolls, y'all should have gone up there and shot your shot. We're gonna talk about dolls soon though.
Okay, play clip.
Yeah, we're gonna play this.
You thought it would be a good idea to use my fucking serious fear against me, so I was like, well, let's have some fun and do it back. Do you not agree?
I can't take it. It's too boring. I'm not gonna lie. I can't even take it. I understand that this clip is supposed to be fucking something to show buff, but y'all, this was the worst clip y'all could have got for this. It's so boring.
What was the point of that clip?
I don't know. Apparently, somewhere in there, he said that Buff knows more about Nightmare's homosexuality. But I can't even focus. Their stream is so boring. Like, no, this is not on our clip team. Our clip team is amazing. I'm sure they sat there and watched fucking nothing, but I literally cannot watch that. I'm like so triggered right now that I just fucking wasted 2 minutes of my life being like, yes, let's show this fucking clip. To show them sitting there and saying fucking nothing. What is that fucking stream? Oh yeah. Yeah. That's literally what it is! Sorry, that just like pissed me the fuck off. I've never shown more of a nothing clip than that.
No, I'm gonna react it for everybody that fell asleep. Me. That's lolcowtest for you guys. I love they have so much support over there. So much support they feel like they can do whatever the fuck they want besides entertain their audience. Oh my goodness. All right, gracious. Look, you know what? It's about to get a little bit of holy unholy around this motherfucker. So look, is that the clip where they were supposed to be trying to call me?
No, that's the next one, and this next timestamp better be exactly fucking correct, because if it's just fucking 2 minutes of they're sitting there doing nothing, then we're going back to doing clips, guys, because what the fuck was that last one? No offense, but what the fuck was that last one? I don't even know what they said. It was literally just them sitting there in silence for like so long that I genuinely just got triggered. I don't even know if the part was after that, but I can't sit there and watch them sit in silence for that long. Like, that is so triggering. Like, that ruined my whole day. Like, that genuinely just ruined my whole day playing that fucking clip.
No, we say by the power of the green. Don't worry about it. We still got this.
What the fuck is their stream though? It's the fact that like I can't even get stupid clips of them saying shit because it's like fucking 30 seconds of nothing. Like I put that shit on 2x. That we watched 2 minutes, okay, down to fucking 1 minute. Nothing, bro. There was nothing in that fucking clip. Like I understand that they said something about you, but it's the fact that they're sitting there like and they talk like this when they're on stream. Like it's like they don't even give a fuck that they're trying to entertain an audience. We're just here having a conversation, you know.
We're having a conversation.
It's like if we did a fucking stream like that, if we did a stream like that, you know how much we get ripped fucking apart. It's all because Keem isn't up to fucking watch Test as much as he is for the other shows, so they don't get ripped apart as much for their content. But I'm so glad he's been ripping them apart these last few fucking days because somebody had to say that their stream is fucking nothing. It literally just is the parasocial hangout for all the fucking weirdos. Like, just being honest.
No, it is. Oh my god. Look.
Max does things super chatted $19.99. I'm sorry, Zoe. I fumbled the briefcase emoji.
You know, fair point. That's a fair point, and I'm glad you corrected it. Also, for people who are saying that he was doxing me and saying my name, he's not doxing me at all. My name has been public since I went and did Queens. Mike asked if it was okay to say my name on a stream, and I said yes. I'm totally fine with my name being out there. Zay and Zoe, did y'all not ever pick up on that? Come on.
Yeah. My name is Derek. If you didn't know, I just said it. It doesn't matter. You think my name would be D'Angelo or something, but you're just a little racist, and I love that about you. Keep going.
Okay, hopefully this clip is actually fucking something. I'm still gonna play it on the fucking
They're just moping. It's lolcowtest.
Dude, as soon as I turn the fucking stream on and I see these fucking faces, does this make you want to watch this shit?
They look so defeated.
When I'm talking, 80% is like truth, and then 20% is doing like a bit to be funny.
This is as loud as it goes, by the way. Sorry, guys.
So I want to ask you guys. Why does that lady keep fucking with her hair? Why are we still discussing this shit? Like, actually, why? Like,
results.
I mean, I know why. It's because they literally can't just go 2 minutes without fucking chatting about us, right? Like, it just is what it is, right? I pissed him off once, and that's it. I pissed him off once, and that's it. End of discussion. No, we gotta go after him. Poop guy, we don't need to make jokes like that, dude. No, we're not doing that. Okay, we're not going that fucking far. It is what it is. I tell you what, Buff, we come back when you can actually make a joke that's not borderline homophobic. Let's get some originality in it, please, okay? But it's just
back to this fucking homophobic shit. We're back on this fucking homophobic shit. Are you goddamn kidding me? I have showed a plethora, hours. I could bring hours worth of clips of you guys pretending to be gay, saying you are gay. Is it a homophobic joke? What could you have possibly said that was homophobic?
Hold on.
Please,
Let me go ahead and make a non-homophobic joke. All right. Nightmare, please don't play with me like I'm some toy, because I can easily tell people in the VC you accidentally called me boy. So look, and that's a joke my dang self. Like, look, I literally have made fun of everything and anything. I didn't give a fuck. The first thing I ever made fun about you is that you don't speak English. You speak an unknown language that needs runic subtitles. Like, I literally thought runes is literally what the subtitles for your voice.
Wait, Buff, be careful. He's gonna say that you're calling for a genocide of the Welsh. So be really careful here. We don't want to end up on Drum Alert.
What? Look, I'm letting you know. The Welsh people are a proud people, and I have nothing.
Now, before we move forward, Milker was on, and I watched a little bit of Milker. It was just Roxy being Roxy. Nothing really that important related to this event, right? With the test boy. Now, there are some clips I do have a rewind, but I will talk about them later on the video. I just want to get this stuff done. Then we'll talk about 3 clips I got for rewind that I wanted to hold off to the very end of this video, and my final conclusion on top of that. So both Rewind and Nerds were talking about this back to back, right? They were going on the same time. And because of that, for both shows' reasons, they have their own vested interests. I do think that to some extent that you can't deny that Billy is doing it against the test because he felt slighted by Nightmare's whole joke about his language, right? His Celtic language, not runic, Celtic. They're, I know I'm being weirdly anal about it. It's Celtic, not runic, but I guess I can understand the misunderstanding. Because the Welsh is a Celtic language and not a runic language. With runic is more found in Nordic countries, whereas Celtic is found in mostly like ancient French, Britannia, Welsh, Scottish, Irish. Those would be like the Gauls, right? Or be considered Celtic. I have no clue why I decided to throw in some accents in there. I do not know why. Why am I talking like this? Back to the point. And most of Rewind was just going over it and just how frustrated and mad. But they also went into the whole thing about parasocial relation, which I'm gonna hold up more of my thoughts about that again towards the end of the video. On the other end, Nerds were talking about it, and Nerds decided, or really particularly Zay Zudit has decided to hold it off, most of her opinion till Monday. So technically, when this video is uploaded, at some point on Monday on the Nerd Hour, they're going to talk about this situation and even have Michelangelo, which is going to be a big damper on the test boys. If y'all from the test are listening to this, I know you guys want to avoid drama, but stop being a bunch of wussies. Grow a pair of balls and cover the story that you're required to. You had a golden opportunity to cover the Bean stuff, and you did it, and you let everything slide, and guess what? Everybody turned on you, right? You can bitch and complain about, oh, he's being a homophobic, or he's being racist. End of the day, I don't think the LCU gives a shit about that unless you can make some content out of it without breaking TOS. Just a true fact, right? And I think Zay knows that, and Zay is going to use it to her advantage against the test boy to the point where they may not recover for a bit of time after this, because too many people feel like they're just been burnt from this for now. Because as I always said, and I'll repeat it one more time towards the end of the video, anything can happen in the LCU. You know, one day you're on top of the world, and the next day you're in the bottom. Now, let's get into... Oh, yeah, before I forget, before we move on, later on Nerves, they had CD-ROM, and CD-ROM was talking about the whole situation between him and Glammy. CD-ROM, stop being a wuss as well, and just grow a pair of balls. I get it, you don't want to cover drama, but it's the LCU. It is a requirement for you to cover the LCU drama as well. Right? If I was part of the LCU, and thank God I'm not, because I'll probably be kicked off for a number of reasons, I mean, I'm already banned from the LCU because, you know, I'm in Link's server and it was originally a Gray server and a mod of one of our servers. Yeah, there's a bit of history behind that. I'll get into that one day. But even with that dilemma, right? Even with that dilemma, CD-ROM, you have no choice but to cover drama. You may not like it, but it's a requirement that Keemstar is going to make you do. Just like he did with the Test Boys. Just like he made Beans realize that. Zayzuri picked that shit up like nothing. And that's why she's in the position where she's at now. And I think that's something important to talk about. But again, I'll wait to the very end.
Trying to like keep some peace, man.
Okay, you said King Scott. What you're doing right now, King Scott. What you're doing right now is indicative that you're stuck in groupthink. Can I? I'm going to read you some things.
I just said Nightmare was 90% wrong with this whole thing.
Okay, here are some key warning signs.
I'm not talking about the whole situation.
Here are some key warning signs that you're in a cult. Undue influences. The group or leader exerts excessive control over your finances, relationships, and personal choices.
I'm
Isolations.
Saying he's at fault for most of this shit.
You're encouraged or forced to limit contact with family and friends, creating a strong sense of dependence on the group. Lack of critical thinking. Questions or criticisms of the leader or group are discouraged, and conformity to the group's beliefs is expected. Fear tactics. The group uses fear to control members.
This is how to attach.
Your same thinking, right? And when I said groupthink, same thing. That's why I said it's like a cult mentality. If we're
cults have that, but that doesn't mean it's a requirement of like every time groupthink happens. There's a reason why groupthink and cult are two different words. You can have groupthink without being in a cult.
Of course. Do I really think Test is a cult? Yeah, I actually do. But
ritualistic sacrifices and all that. I get what you're saying here.
Yeah.
Is you're thinking? Yeah, I'm over exemplifying.
Or ability to think for yourself. Well, I have to think. I have to think like Test. If I don't think like Test, I might be doing it wrong. Who knows? I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Okay. Amber in the chat says, holy shit, dude got his money back. What else they can do? You know what they could have done?
Yeah.
Instead of telling him, we don't want to talk about this anymore, they could have went live into accountability for it. It would have looked fan-fucking-tastic if they would have just took accountability out loud in front of people and say where they fucked up. That's what they could have done. It's very fucking easy because it's fucking obvious what they did on a goddamn live stream. That's what they could have done. They could have took fucking accountability.
And instead, we get to milk them and the fans because the fans.
I found these set of clips to be particular, and I waited till the very end to talk about them because it truly is just the kettle calling the pot black. As Grace said, as Ruby said it, as Lynx and other people have said it, even Savage recently, and even to some extent even Becky said it in the past, that the LCU is like a cult. And it's funny that Billy of all people is trying to make this, well, you're in a group thing. Well, I think the Test is a cult. It's like, and I'm saying this truly. The fact that of all people, Billy the Sweeper, as some people like to refer him, is calling Test a cult. It's literally the pot calling the kettle black. Somewhere in Billy's head, he must have realized, wait a minute, maybe I need to stop saying. He said groupthink first, and then he said cult. Knowing that the LCU has been called a cult a number of times. Now they did use the Amazing Atheist tactic with people. If you're not aware of the Amazing Atheist tactic, it's where you get thrown an insult or something, and rather than just mope and lope about it and cry about it, you just take it for a ride and you monetize that, right? And that's what they did. But it's just hilarious. And I think there's some level of spite being done to the Test. And rightfully so. I'm not going to deny they do deserve it. Right? But again, it's just the kettle calling the pot black. They're calling Test a cult, knowing that the LCU has been called a cult by from most people outside of the show and inside the show. That doesn't look good. I think somewhere in Billy's mind, he must have realized that at some point, and he was just too far into it, and he just couldn't turn back. And that is the case. You done fucked, dude, because now everybody is gonna use the ammunition. It's like, it's like you had a moment to pause and just stop. And I know that's why he was using the word groupthink rather than cult, because he doesn't want to call it what he did call it. He called Tess a cult, but again, the LCU has been called those both things number of times, and you just did not help that whole thing. Good job, my dude. In your moment of anger, maybe you should have realized, there should have been a moment of, maybe we are in a cult, and by calling one of our shows a cult, that makes us more of a cult. Because how many times have we seen all the hosts wait for the LCU? All the allegations, number of times. And guess what? You've done it. Now, the whole Michelangelo situation, I do feel bad for the kid. At the same time, because I understand he's highly autistic, but it's like, I don't know. I feel bad for the kid because a lot of autistic people, high-functioning autistic people, do get scammed a lot. On the other hand, you also have to think about the situation of, if you're going to treat everybody equally, and if he done messed up, then that's his own fault, which is true. But at the same time, the test people still need to take accountability. And I'm not going to victim blame Michelangelo. But I will say this, like, dude, if anything, takes it as a life lesson, because I do have a feeling that this may be the first or second time this has happened to him. Because from what I understand, he felt really bummed about this. Now, there is a small chance that this may be a troll by him, but I'm not going to, you never know with that one. So if it is a small chance he's trolling everybody, hey, good on him. But I don't think that may be the case. But again, this is a weird situation. I'm looking at it out the outside. Yeah, the test boy, Nightmare, did make a statement that he's taking full responsibility. He's not going to do this ever again. People at Rewind, they showed that and everything. Good on them. But then at the same time, it's like, well, Michelangelo, why didn't you get a second opinion? Why didn't you ask other people, like, hey, can you help me out? Is this girl being for real? Are they playing with me? There's so many situations where this could have been avoided completely, and it didn't. And this was the worst possibility. And I can understand why Keemstar is acting the way he is, and the same thing for the Rewind people. Now, again, back to the whole thing, whether or not do I think Billy cares about Michelangelo? I think he does care, but there's also an attempt to do damage control. Now, again, it's the parasocial relationship thing. The LCU has a parasocial relationship that goes way far back, as I'm going to be real with you, it's go all the way back even before the LCU was called the LCU. I could even tell you that during the LCL, there was a number of times where there were parasocial people all the time. Because the hosts would pop into the voice chat or on the main channel back when it was just lolcowlive, and we would talk with them, and there were some people who did felt like, oh, Boogie's my friend, or Wings is my friend, right? So this isn't new, but it is getting out of hand. And I think something that Amaru, hopefully I said her name, she brought up the whole issue about parasocial relationship and how damaging it is for the live streamers or for the hosts themselves, and how it can also be even damaging to the viewer, and this can lead into a lot of bad situations. Props on her. And I feel like that the shows are realizing now, and with a show like Doll, I'm going to call it out. Doll is going to have a really bad parasocial relationship down the line. If Queens already has it, Dolls is going to have it. And you may not believe me, but I do believe that is the truth. Now, if I did miss anything throughout this video, I do apologize. Shout out to Huggy again for being mentioned by Keemstar. Good on you, man. This whole situation is nut, and I just realized this video is more than an hour and a half, so I'm going to cut it off here. And those are just my final thoughts about everything, about all the drama. And the last thing I can say to the test boys is, girl pair of balls. You may not like this, you may not care for drama, but you're going to be forced into it. And the only way you're going to succeed is by learning how the other hosts talk about this stuff. You're lucky because Keemstar doesn't watch you guys. But as we speak currently right now, he's watching you guys very carefully now. And be ready for him to just poke at every little hole you guys have. So it's either grow up or fall down. And with that being said, guys, till next time, God bless.